belong in this neighborhood. This is a safe area, and people like you are why crime is going up.
You need to leave. Now.
I'm just trying to get into my car. Can you please move so I can leave?
Marcus pulled into the shopping center parking lot on a Saturday afternoon. It was just another regular day, stepping away from his computer, running out to pick up a few things for dinner, before heading home to check his emails. Nothing about him stood out. He lived quietly, had moved to this suburban area 6 months earlier, helped elderly neighbors with their carts, and always returned his shopping cart to the proper spot. When he walked back to his car, groceries in hand, the scene looked peaceful, until it wasn't. A pickup truck had parked so close to his driver's door that he could barely open it. Standing next to the truck was a middle-aged couple. The man wore a red cap, arms crossed. The woman wore sunglasses despite the cloudy weather. Marcus stayed calm, walked to the passenger side to load his groceries. But the woman stepped closer and said, "You don't belong in this area. This is a safe neighborhood, and people like you are the reason crime is going up." Her words sliced through the quiet afternoon like a blade. Instead of reacting with anger, Marcus made a decision that later proved to be his lifeline. He raised his smartphone openly and started recording, no hiding it. The moment the camera turned on, everything shifted. The woman became louder, more hostile. The man stepped closer, pointing his finger at the lens. "Stop recording. Get out of here." Marcus kept his voice steady. "I'm just getting my things and leaving. Please let me open my door." But the truck still blocked his way, and the man leaned in so close his face nearly touched the camera, throwing racial insults, threatening Marcus that the police were on their way and he'd be arrested. The woman dialed 911 and claimed a black man was harassing them, even though every second of the encounter was being recorded by Marcus and later by a teenager filming from another angle. When the police arrived, Marcus immediately showed the video. The officer watched, asked for a copy, then walked back to the couple and stated plainly, based on the footage, they were being arrested for filing a false report and harassment. Their faces drained. The woman cried. The man yelled for a supervisor. The couple was handcuffed and placed into patrol cars. Officers asked Marcus, "Do you want to press additional charges?" He answered, "Yes." Because this wasn't just about him. This was about a bigger problem. People using law enforcement as a weapon against someone because of their race. Marcus uploaded the unedited video online with the caption, "I'm tired of moments like this." Within hours, it had millions of views. Reporters called. People dug into the couple's background, his construction business, her real estate work. Both were hit with a wave of backlash, cancellations, and public outrage. Legally, they faced charges for false reporting, harassment, and a hate crime enhancement, an upgrade that could bring jail time and heavy fines. Eventually, they accepted a plea, guilty to harassment and filing a false report. The sentence, 2 years of probation, 300 hours of community service for Mitchell, 250 hours for Caroline, a $5,000 fine each, mandatory anti-bias education, and a 5-year no-contact order with Marcus. But even probation wasn't the real punishment. Their lives fell apart, businesses collapsed, reputations were ruined, friends pulled away, relatives appeared on media saying they never knew the couple had such views. Marcus, meanwhile, was invited to speak at events, join civil rights groups, and share his experience. He always said the same thing. He was lucky. He had video. He had witnesses. But countless others don't. The most haunting part came during a final interview. Marcus said, "Justice for me? Maybe partly. But real justice that requires changing the system and the culture. The worst part wasn't what happened to me in that parking lot. The worst part is knowing that somewhere else, another person is going through this without a camera, without witnesses, without being believed." This story isn't just about two people who thought they could be racist without consequences. It's a warning. Because in the age of smartphones, hateful behavior isn't invisible. Words meant to intimidate can be recorded, shared, and used as evidence. People who think they're untouchable can be held accountable. After the video exploded online, Marcus tried returning to normal life. But normal is hard to reclaim once you become the center of a national conversation you never asked for. He only wanted to leave the parking lot, go home, and have dinner. Yet within a single afternoon, he was pushed into becoming a symbol, a role he never sought but couldn't avoid. Community response was overwhelming. People who had never met Marcus messaged encouragement. Others who had lived similar experiences saw him as someone who finally spoke up for them. But beneath the support was a bitter reality. Everyone understood this wasn't rare. Marcus was simply lucky to have. When prosecutors charged the couple, now identified as Mitchell and Caroline, the tension began. Both pleaded not guilty. Their lawyer argued that the video didn't show the full story and that their fear was justified. No one in the courtroom bought it. Video doesn't lie. And when a teenager submitted footage from a second angle, whatever hope Mitchell and Caroline had left evaporated. Their attorney tried another tactic, challenged the legality of the recording. But the state's single-party consent law protected Marcus. A public parking lot offers no reasonable expectation of privacy. Facing overwhelming evidence, the prosecutor offered a plea. Plead guilty to harassment and false reporting. Drop the hate crime enhancement. It would spare them jail. Caroline wanted the deal. Mitchell refused, insisting he was a victim of internet smearing. He believed a jury would understand. But the evidence was airtight. Their lawyer knew if they went to trial, they would lose, and the punishment would be far worse. After days of arguing, they accepted the plea. On sentencing day, the judge, a strict, seasoned woman, looked them in the eye and said, "You used the police as a weapon against an innocent man. This behavior is not only wrong, it is dangerous." Then she delivered the sentence. 2 years probation each. 300 hours of community service for Mitchell, 250 for Caroline. A $5,000 fine each. Mandatory anti-bias training. A 5-year no-contact order with Marcus. But the shock came at the end. You will stand before students and community groups and explain exactly what you did and what you learned. That is the punishment I believe you need most. Everyone understood. This was a humiliation they couldn't escape. Each retelling forced them to confront their own wrongdoing. Yet the deepest damage came from the court of public opinion. Mitchell lost clients. 3 major contracts canceled within 24 hours. His small construction company collapsed within months. He had to take a low-paying job under someone else. Caroline's real estate career evaporated. Agencies refused to hire her. Clients refused to work with her. She left the industry entirely and worked in a small office far from the public eye. Even family members distanced themselves, some appearing in interviews saying they were shocked by the couple's behavior. Marcus never wanted to be a symbol, but he became one anyway. Civil rights groups contacted him. Universities invited him to speak about the power of evidence and the importance of staying calm under pressure. He accepted a few invitations, but he always reminded people, "I was lucky." Many others don't have that luck. When journalists asked whether he felt justice had been served, Marcus answered, "For me, maybe partly, but for the system, no. There's still so much to fix." The criminal case closed, but Marcus filed a civil lawsuit for emotional distress, defamation, and creating danger through false reporting. The couple settled privately. Most of the settlement money, according to sources, was donated by Marcus to organizations supporting victims of racial harassment. The case sparked conversations beyond the parking lot. States reconsidered laws on racially motivated false reports. Some lawmakers pushed for harsher penalties. Police training programs began using the incident as a real-world example. The person dialing 911 isn't always the victim. Sometimes the call itself is the weapon. 3 years later, Marcus gave one final interview. The reporter asked, "Do you think justice was served?" He said, "Justice for me, maybe. Justice for the larger community will take much longer, and I know somewhere today, someone else isn't as lucky as I was." And that is the heart of this story. It isn't about the downfall of Mitchell and Caroline. It's a reminder that even a few minutes in a parking lot can alter lives forever. They thought they could intimidate a black man, weaponize the police, but the smartphone proved the truth. They were wrong, completely wrong. When we look back at everything that happened, the uncomfortable truth isn't just what Mitchell and Caroline did. It's knowing that situations like this happen every day, often without cameras. Marcus was fortunate to have evidence, witnesses, and people willing to speak up. Many others aren't. We share this story not to dig into two people's mistakes, but to emphasize that respect, equality, and responsibility aren't slogans. They're what keep communities safe and fair. One malicious moment can destroy lives. One courageous action, like pressing record, can protect an innocent person. Hopefully you take something from this story today. Don't stay silent when you see injustice. Speaking up isn't always easy, but sometimes it's the only thing that protects the truth.